okay, because I only got one these things in my ear. Because the other one decides to be like, well, I'm not going to charge, despite, being in the case correctly. But the other one's charging just fine, but you didn't put me in just right, so I'm not charged. Okay, so anyway, if you can hear me, majestic. If you can't, well, I call BS on on these shenanigans. But anyway, so a few more things to announce too, by the way. Hey, Aaron and Kayla. I like how I just started and this thing already said battery low. Like, if anything, I'll just put in my headphones. I'll try to make this quick. Announcements. Number one, that Goetia row that I told you about yesterday, or like sometime last week. Yeah, it should be here any day now. And I have something really special to do. Like, I have something special planned for it when it gets here, like ceremonial and all, and it's going to be a live stream. Number two, I'm actually starting to write my book about love, like like everything from soup to nuts in that little book. Well, it's not going to be little because I'm actually having somebody give me a hand and actually making the artwork and actually taking all the information I put in there and making it look pretty by like formatting and all that because that's what's making me really intimidated to write a book in the first place, the formatting and all that. But I found somebody that is more than willing to design the book and format it for me, like chapters and all that, get it all in order. So that should be on the way pretty soon as well. And the new link to like get in contact with me if you ever want me to read card stuff for you, do any kind of spell work, or have a one-on-one teach you about a subject of the occult or what have you. There's something called link in bio, which is as it sounds. Down below, there should be a link thing you click on, and then you should be able to see a PayPal link if you deem fit to throw money at me for all the information I throw at your head. A messenger link that way you can message me on Facebook and actually get in contact with me. An email for me, fill out to actually send me an email message, and then I'll get back to you as fast as I can. And then links to my other social media like Instagram, Facebook, the YouTube, which is you're on right now, and also my Teespring merch store that actually has the zodiac signs, and it's soon going to be having the Lilith book on there as well. And also there's going to be something new changing going up on there. I'm still designing it. But anywho, enough of that. So the next part, because I got requested to do this again by somebody, my next taking a look at some more of the Goetic divines and reading their passages in the Goetia and other accounts from other demonologists. So my first one I'm going to start off with is, does anybody know who this is? Anybody can take a guess in the dark. And here's another hint. He likes camels. So, anybody can take a guess? And I've actually told his story before when I first encountered him. A lot of like, what in the heck is going on here? How come there's a conga line in front of me? And how come every deity I know is conga lining in front of me right now? Okay, all right. Now, why are kittens blowing instruments and blowing a tuba? No, no, not the tuba. Like blowing horns and like trumpets obnoxiously. Okay. Now we have tambourine ladies going across. Okay. Now what else can happen here? Okay, that's a big elephant and it has a small little symbol thing in the trunk. Oh, it is. Does anybody have an idea? Yep, Kayla's correct. It is King Paimon, literally. First encounter literally was a conga line of all the deities I know of. I'm thinking, what in the heck is going on here? And after all that, I just told him like, oh, surprise. So that was pretty lively, huh? Does a bicycle kick, like Kelly breakdance, does a bicycle kick to his feet, walks up to me and says, well, what'd you expect? I'm a king. Come on, dude. But anyway, enough of my shenanigans. So, King Paimon, number 9. And I'm also reading from Occult World, which does have the other accounts written with it too. So, according to the site, it says King Paimon, and I'm calling him King Paimon every time when I say his name. King Paimon is a fallen angel and ninth of the 72 spirits. Prior to his fall, King Paimon was in the angelic order of dominations. He was conceited with his own knowledge and fell with Lucifer. In hell, he rules as a king and has 200 legions of demons under his command. He appears as a crowned man seated on a camel, hence the camel part, preceded by many musicians with trumpets, cymbals, and instruments. That conga line, remember that? Well, deities with, going dun 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 dun. Hey, well, I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but the cats with trumpets and, you know, all that blowing stuff, there's that. Cymbals, well, there's the one with the elephant looking all derp a derp. And then the tambourine ladies, yep, there that is. He has a roaring voice. He teaches all arts, sciences, and secrets. So he gives people to the will of magician and gives great familiars. He will give the answer to any questions. He should be observed in the northwest. So that's what the that's just what the website says. But when it comes to say from like the Goetia, the lesser key of Solomon, I'm not going to call him king because he doesn't deserve to have that title in my opinion. Written by S.L. McGregor Mathers. Okay, so we're going to go read all this and dissect it line by line, if it needs to be dissected and actually seen with more potential. The ninth spirit in order is King Paimon. It's not, he doesn't call him King Paimon, but I'm calling him that. A great king and very obedient to Lucifer. Okay, so we know for one thing, if you were to actually evoke Lucifer first, or have Lucifer with you, or if you already have his energy in the room with you, and if you then go to King Paimon, a good majority, most of the time, King Paimon is going to respond. Very obedient to Lucifer. Keep that in mind. Bring in Lucifer, and then have him help you get to King Paimon if it's your first attempt. Because very obedient to Lucifer, well, let me explain that. He appeareth in the form of a young man sitting on a dromedary, which is a camel with a hump. By the way, in case you didn't know what that was. With a crown most glorious on his head. So he's a king. 3 go before him, a host of spirits like men with trumpets. Again, like with the cat people, being obnoxious, and cymbals, the derpy elephant, and all sorts of other musical instruments. Just like, the tambourine ladies, and I don't know, the divines going hey counts with voice. He hath a great voice and roareth at his first coming. Well, his first coming, that could be like the first time you interact with him. Like, for an example, when he spoke to me, he was just all, well, I'm a king. Duh, what'd you expect? Kind of like, in a way that can make you be like, okay, yeah, okay. And his speech is, and his voice or speech is such as the magician cannot understand. So, in other words, he may speak in a way that's more, might be in a different language, might be in a way with vocabulary. You're like, I did not understand a word you just said because those words are too big. Or it may be spoken fast, maybe spoken slow, or actually may be spoken in a way that's not communication by that the magician knows. So, for example, he he actually might communicate to the magician that's in sign language, and then the magician is like, "What are you talking? What? What? I don't get it." Or actually speak telepathically, or actually draw shapes in the sand and then point downward at the magician to read what's on the ground. Hello, Patrice. Are you all right down there too? Because I think it wasn't a storm, like a really dangerous storm going down there too. You're not in the area, are you? I hope not. Please say no. I hope so. Please say no. You're safe and okay. I know I just took a random pause right here, but I mean, it's just something I worry about. Anyway, so the magician cannot well understand. Okay, okay, good. Because I mean, that would have drove me nuts. The magician, in a way that a magician can understand. So any kind of. I don't care if the battery's low. Stop saying that. Sorry, I'm sorry if I just had, my voice just going "Ah," right there. Hey, Siri. The magician cannot well understand. So it's a kind of communication that is unknown or can't be understood by the magician, but like sign language. Even if you want to be really technical, you might even do it like, okay, oh thank goodness. Or it can even be something as simple as Morse code. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if King Paimon just decided to go me 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 and what? The magician gets confused. Like, I don't understand it unless the magician compelleth him, King Paimon. Don't, 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 don't compel, don't force. Do not, don't do that. That's a big no-no. If anything, if there's ever an incident where you don't understand whatever they say, regardless of who or whatever divine it is, it it's okay to actually ask them, could you please repeat that and in a way that I can best understand it, so that way I know what you're saying. Oh no, I didn't forget. It's just I get thrown all over the place. Like I have a lot of things going on and my attention goes all over the place. And I'm trying to balance between everything. Trust me, I don't forget. It's just I give my attention to something for a little bit, then I go to something else, and something else, and something else. I try to keep everything balanced and given attention when needed. This this spirit can teach all arts and sciences. So, all arts and sciences. So, let's take it from the top. What is science? The science A science is defined as something that is the study of something that is of it's the study of something that is on or relating to the earth in some way, shape, or form. So that could be it can be any of the following, but definitely not the limited list. Number one, geology. Number two, anatomy. Number three, biology. Number four, microbiology. Five, um, I think, yeah, I said geology. Number five, um, I just had it lost it. Botany, the study of plants. That's another one. Pharma, pharma, like pharmacology, the like study of drugs, medic, and all that. And the study of health, because health is a scientist. Yep. Chemistry is another one. Study of the elements. Yep. Anything that is a science, he teaches. And also astronomy, the study of stars. You probably think about how's that really science? Same thing with astrology too. But how is that? Well, because that up there has something to do with the Earth. The Earth's included in that. That counts too. And then the arts. Now arts, or the art. And art is defined as something as is either something that is made, expressed, or created, or just some form of the self expressing itself in some way, shape, or form. Which again is not limited to witchcraft, the occult, playwriting, literature, writing, acting. hmm Acting counts. Painting, sculpting, like ring crafting, jewelry crafting. I mean, there's so many, even like ballet, even though that's a form of, even though that is a type of, that is a dance, and dance is part of that too, as well as singing, music, vocal singing, that counts as an art. And also finding out the art of bamboozling, because you can express with alchemy. You can express how creative you are by taking something from A to B. Yep. Anything that has to involve you expressing yourself in a way, that's the art. and also historical art that counts too, like literally like the Mona Lisa, in order to, yeah, you get the idea. And other secret things, and anything that's secret is the occult. Anything that is a secret, anything that is withheld from you that you don't know, anything that is commonly not known or not really spoken about, that counts too. He can discover what the earth is, and what hold up the waters. So essentially, he can also discover the like the underground of the earth, like what makes the earth how it is. Like again, going back to the science part, and what holds up the water. In other words, what makes the earth being able to have the water the way that it does, and how is it able to emotionally connect to everything that's on it. And that makes sense because water is emotion and the earth is a living being. So King Paimon can also teach you how to be able to emotionally connect or intuitively connect to something that is of the earth. For example, we can connect to plants, connect to animals, connect to humans, that counts, and other wildlife, and actually feel and detect the energy with them. And what the wind is of where, and like that's pretty much showing where the sound is coming from, or like where communication is coming from, so you can actually be able to take your messages from go to A and give it to where it needs to go, guide your communication to somewhere it needs to go. Computer science, yep, that counts. Computer science, that counts. However, King Paimon may be more of like the 3D mundane kind of science, because there is another Goetic divine that actually is all about. Actually, I take that back. I take that back. I take that back because language arts, that is an art, and science, computer science, programming is actually a computer language. So yep, that counts too. But also, if you want to have artists help you learn computer programming language like binary code, all that zero and ones. I mean, it counts. It counts. That's another one. Anything that is a science or an art, King Paimon can give you assistance and teach you of that, or any other thing you desire to know. So if there's something you want to know, King Paimon will most likely teach you and giveth you the direction to go to get the answer. And he giveth dignity and confirmeth the same. So pretty much he gives you higher dignity, higher respect, and have the ability to have others conform to whatever you're deeming fit to say. But now, when you're giving conformity to something, it could be in a way that's respectful or a way that's like iron fist. And then here comes the next line. He bindeth or maketh a man subject to the magician desired. So any individual that the magician wants another human being to be pretty much bound to the magician's will, just like that, by intimidation, by bound, be like being like, ah, this I must have magician. Bound, that's well being bound in a romantic way, in an intimidating way, in a respectful way, in an obsessive way, in a way that is fearful. Any way that you can think of, he can find that will to make it that happen. And he gets good familiars. So a familiar is not just like not like an animal. Animal, no, like an animal spirit either. It is a familiar that is potentially, it could even be one of his dukes or counts. A familiar spirit is a spirit that you have got a connection with, and you have a deep, deep connection, and this familiar actually protects you, guides you, and aids in your growth. It doesn't have to be an animal spirit. It doesn't have to be a totem animal. If King Paimon wanted to, he could say, Dantalion, would you be ever so grateful to, be his familiar, guide him through life, make sure he stops crying. That counts. And such as can teach all arts, he should be observed towards the northwest. So now north, here's your cardinal directions. North, this well, actually. where I'm facing right now, I'm facing towards the east. So there's east, there's south that way, west behind me, and then north that way. So he needs to be, whenever you're doing any kind of, like, if you're trying, stop saying battery low, you stupid thing. Please no, let's not do that. So whenever you're speaking to him, you should be facing the northwest. So I would be facing, here's north this way, then northwest would be towards this way, to this corner. That's where I should be doing any kind of working or speaking towards him. And then this is what his seal looks like. And this was hand drawn. And but I kind of added some tints of red to it because just some black didn't look so good. So and where'd I go? And he is the order of dominion. So again, domination. He can be a dominating spirit, but only to bind somebody's will. Not that's pretty much as much as it gets. And have 200 legions of spirits under him. One of them is part of the angelic order. If you call King Paimon alone, you must make him some offering to him, and there will be two kings with them, Babel and Ablam. I think I said it wrong. And other spirits of. And this is his character, essentially his seal. So in other words, if you're calling him alone, like for the first time alone, he may expect something in return for his time. But that's why I said when you are going to be approaching him for the first time, consider bringing Lucifer along. Lucifer is with you, instant connection, and he's not alone. But the thing is with King Paimon though, when you first contact him, you may have to be very patient with him because he likes to have his grand entry. He likes to have everything be like, okay, wakey wakey, surprise, how we all doing today? I hope we're doing good. Yeah. So that's King Paimon. And essentially the same thing is just repeated the whole thing. Yep, yep. That's that's just yep, and that's pretty much just saying the same thing as I just said it. So now we will scooch over to the next divine that I have picked out. The next one. Let's go with where to go. Let's go with President Balak. I know, where is my game intro? I'm thinking about it because I know President Balak is in that deck. And another word of advice. Whenever you're speaking of these divine beings, if you've noticed how I've always tried my very best to try and call them by their title and then their name, because if you make that a habit, that will bring that'll actually make you be deemed more respectful, and not only just to that one that you're trying to interact with, but the whole entirety of the rest. They'll keep that in mind and they'll actually take memory of it. And when you have the reputation for being respectful, I mean, it's kind of common sense. You be respectful to one, and you go towards another one, be respectful to that one, and then another one, then another one, then another one. It kind of becomes like pretty much common knowledge that you have this respectful demeanor, and I mean, they'll be much more easier and more likely to work towards you in theory because you never know how they're going to react to you, but that's just depending on the person. So just just a perspective to keep in mind. Up there it is. Okay, now President Volk. Funny enough, Volk appears to be somewhat similar to how Lucifer likes to appear as a child figure. But that is what President Volk looks like. The card says, as the president of hell with 30 legions at his command, he takes the form of a beautiful child with wings of an angel, and he rides a two-headed dragon. Okay? Now, he is number 62. And he has, and actually when you add those two numbers together, you get the number 8. So the number 8, 6 and 2, you add 6 and 2, that's 8. The number 6 is actually a Saturnian number, the number of Saturn. Now, see, from the Pseudomacaria Daemon, 1583, written by John Ware, President Volk and okay, I don't mind that, but anyway, President Volk is a great president and cometh abroad with angel wings like a boie, riding on a two-headed dragon, which is like this. He perfectly answers of hidden treasure. So anything that is valuable to you, that is hidden from you or being withheld from you, or anything that you deem having value, like for example, if you're trying to figure out something of like a textbook, or like if you're trying to figure out something of a religious text that's kept secret, like for an example, like how the Bible has been altered so many times. If you find, that information, the truth of how that was originally written, if you find that valuable, there you go. And where serpents may be seen. So essentially, he can actually help you point out where there's snakes, literal snakes, or people that actually are con artists, or those that actually also practice what's that called? Tantra? Hey, blue skies, or essentially anything that actually involves and also what's that called? Crap, I just had it. And if you actually practice or if you know of the Nagas, that humanoid race, yeah, well, don't say snake eater. No, Valak probably will not help you play Solid. No, he probably won't help you play Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. I don't think he would be too thrilled with that. Like, and now this thing just died. Hold on, be right back. Stupid piece of crap. There. Okay. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me with this thing? Yes. No. Wait. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, we're good. Okay. Can you still hear me? Okay. Nay, nay, meh. Okay, good. And where serpents may be seen. Okay. In other words, so anywhere where there's somebody who is very, very deceptive, very very coy, and very slithery, and like kind of able to like somebody who's very hard to pin down or like trying to track because they always get out of trouble. Or like if somebody scammed you, well, Vola can help you find them, and he delivered into the conjurer's hands. So, any treasures that are hidden or anything that you find valuable that's hidden from you, Vola can actually deliver that in your hand or into your owning or your ownership or to you in some way, shape, or form, to your awareness. Now, bringing it to your awareness can be by sight, by physically hand, you hear it. I don't know if that'll make sense to be like, if Volok was like, okay, I got what you asked for, open your mouth. By taste, no. That no. By smell, probably because when you have this, when you smell something, it affects your brain differently. Yes, I was actually getting to that. And by the serpent part, he can actually teach somebody to actually know how to handle snakes and how to care for snakes, the animal snake. Like actually provide food for them, how to raise a snake, how to pretty much, like if somebody was interested in having a pet snake and actually properly raising it, hmm and to deliver it into the conjurer's hands, void of any force or strength. So Valak will actually give you like a snake, or like help you be able to interact with the snake that won't make it turn hostile when you touch it. Because if you're handling a venomous snake, you might want to make sure you're careful with your hands. But here's another one. Develop, like, deliver it into the conjurer's hands. So delivering into the conjurer's hands, that con artist gets he gets pretty much put back towards the conjurer's hands. In other words, the con artist gets put in his fate gets put in your hands. So you can be all, so I can either call law enforcement or you can give me back what I wanted. That was mine in the first place that you stole. Or they have to give back whatever they stole from you or played you. They have to give it back to you 100%. And have dominion over 30 legions of spirits. But also, since Volok controls actually has the dominion over serpents, I'm going to read from the Daemon Tarot because there's a little bit more on him that was not mentioned. Annotation. That's from the Volok is the president of Hell, commanded 30 infernal legions according to Warrior's Psychodemonium. His face and figure is that of a beautiful young boy child with wings of an angel. He has a soft and sweet voice, and his demeanor is gentle and kind. Now, he's also one to teach deception and also how to make yourself seem innocent and not one that appears to cause a lot of damage. So if you need to appear gullible and not a threat, there's Volok for you. He'll also teach you how to speak in a way that's gentle. The significant now the number of spirits that I'm not entirely sure, but keep in mind a legion can be anywhere from like a few hundred to like a lot of hundred of spirits, singular spirits. So for example, President Valak has a total of 30. So I'll probably say at least minimum 900 singular spirits each for Volok. At least minimum 900. Meanwhile, someone like King Paimon, I would have to say minimum minimum 6,000, and that's a guess. I could be wrong, and I'm most likely wrong, but I'm taking a shot in the dark. His voice, yeah, it's a one. To all appearances, Volok can be the visual inspiration for the Renaissance Puri Puri, but for his choice of transportation, a ferocious two-headed dragon. So you know, like how in some of those Renaissance paintings of like Aphrodite having their little Cupid baby things flying around, yeah, potentially Volok may have inspired that. So whenever you see Cupid, his brother Erebos, there you go. Oh look, he was the original one. Now for the next line for inspiration, Balak is gentle and non-violent by all accounts, but he has the gift of communication with serpents. So again, he can actually help you interact with serpents, but it's also interact with con artists and those that scam. So if you're wanting to learn how to actually interact with somebody who's a scammer and get information from them, you can. His gift allows him to find any snake in the world. In other words, to help find any two-timing scammer in the world. And he can speak to it. You need him to speak to a scammer and tell him, Why don't you stop being, evil to this one person? Please stop. I don't want you, to get sick by venom or something. He can speak to it and it will answer his questions and follow his commands. Hmm. So essentially, anyone that scammed you, he actually have Valak assist you by by having you have Volok ask questions on your behalf and also do what is commanded. And although he doesn't look powerful, he has at his disposal a host of powerful and clever creatures from the great dragons he uses as the steed to the tiny grass snakes that can seek the locations of hidden treasures. In other words, so if you need to have, listen to this one. If you need to have money, like fast money, even though we don't mind it not being ethical, perhaps Volok can give you a hand with that. From any size, from a big, I just sneeze, excuse me. It could be from like a big scam, a little scam, or anything that you have to have done involving someone who's a snake. Volok can assist with that. So, Volok was a short one. Oh, look, it's Alex. So let's see here. Oh, I know, I have a good one. I have a good Goetic spirit next. I'm gonna pick one that a lot of people are like, that's it? I don't get it. How is that useful? And this is actually a really well-known one that people have not really kind of really understood because it seems like, so how is that going to benefit us nowadays? But then again, like what I've said, every single thing has value in it. You just have got to look hard enough. Everything has something beautiful or something good about it if you just be patient and really dig for it. So, let me find them. How would I do? Next up is Duke Omdesis, number 67. He is a great duke and has rulership of 29 legions. He appears as a unicorn. So yes, if you want, we can be like My Little Pony. No, don't do that. He will take on a human shape if asked to, not command. Don't command, don't demand, no. But as soon as you ask him to take human form, it'll cause musical instruments to be heard but not seen. So, musical instruments to be heard and not seen. So, instruments make sound. And usually, what happens when you mix the two elements, water and air, you get music, expression of emotions that can't be spoken. Because emotions are usually can be expressed by a song. And when you have, say, like there are some like love songs that somebody's like, you know, this song says exactly how I feel towards you. That song is actually expressing their emotional body in a way that they can't describe it or express it. So the song expresses it for them. So, cause musical instruments to be heard and not seen. So you could actually hear a lot of people actually expressing their love towards you, or there could be potentially a lot of people actually, or like there might be some kind of expression that has a lot of emotion towards you, or there's a lot of emotional expression that's either around you, or there's some deep emotional expression that is being expressed within inside you, or he actually might pull it out of you. Trees sway at the sound of his voice, and he gives power to make trees fall and gives excellent familiars. So that's just by the sight. So trees sway at the sound of his voice. So by Andusius' voice, trees sway. So what's a tree? The tree is the oldest, isn't usually seen as a sign of an elder because trees are really, let's just say they have a lot of years of experience on this earth and living. So elders sway at the sound of his voice. Those that have immense wisdom sway at the sound of his voice. So, with that in mind, if you need to actually get an elder to be more open and a lot more easygoing and let loose, like if they were acting crabby and very, get away from me, brat. Amdesis could possibly help you with that. Trees, and something that has been on Earth for a long time, has wisdom, has a lot of age. Tree, that's the same thing. A tree is really a plant that's really old and older. So trees sway at the sound of his voice. So swaying tree, essentially an odor letting loose, letting themselves just flow. And he gives power to make the trees fall. But now, at the same time, make the trees fall. Falling can mean one thing: fall asleep, fall dead, or fall in, like, fall asleep. And also gives excellent familiars. And I mean, this is as far as it goes. Not really that much on them, but still. It also gives excellent familiars, just like before with King Paimon. Familiars can be any spirit, any left-hand divine, any entity that sticks with you for a long time and forms an intimate connection. But now, saying for an example, if he gives you, he really can't say for an example, give you King Paimon as familiar, because that may not work as planned. Instead, he will actually advise you to go towards King Paimon as the familiar you should go towards, as an example. But if there's any spirit that he can give you as familiar, he will. But I mean, just that alone, a lot of people see moving trees, just that's it. Read a little bit deeper. Think a little bit outside the box. So now you have a, a Goetic divine to help you make your elders chill, have fun, dance a little, let loose, hang loose. Let's see here. Let's go. I'll do one more. Okay, fine. How about this? Just pick one. Okay, fine. Do it this way. Tell me when. I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to whoever wants to. Okay, that was quick. Asmodeus. Good old King Asmodeus. Let me just get. He even has a card in this deck, so let me just get his card out real quick. And I really don't care what people have to say. When I see the image of him in this deck, I'm sorry, I can't help it. I think he's very jolly and he's having a good laugh. But some people are like, well, he's breathing fire. He's laughing and he has a lot of zest. There it is. He has a lot of life to his breath, and he's just full of life. And well, there's King Asmodeus for you. I'll have you know, doesn't that look like, like breath and not flame? But still, nonetheless. Good old King Asmodeus. So what can we know about King Asmodeus? We got a long thing, so let's do it. King Asmodeus. I'm gonna be reading from this one right here because my phone's gonna die. So the lesser key, excuse me, the Goetia, the lesser key of Solomon. The 32nd spirit is Asmodee or King Asmodeus. 32nd. When you add 3 and 2, you get the number 5. 5 is a number of energy, a lot of movement, a lot of bang, whack. He is a great king, strong and powerful. He appeareth with 3 heads, one with a bull, one with a man's head, and then the third with a ram. So, let's take a look at our astrology. Head of head of a bull, head of Taurus, the senses. That includes sight, smell, taste, touch, hear, sight. Mm-hmm. And also anything that is luxurious. Three heads. And second is a man. Okay. Then the third with the ram, Aries, initiative. So he is a king that takes initiative to anything that is of the physical world and physical experience. Anything that pleases the senses in any way, shape, or form. Can be something as minuscule as if he wants this, he has the willpower to get it. If he desires for it, it's intense. Because Aries is initiative. Aries takes action. Aries knows me, mine, forget everything else. And he hath a tail of a serpent. So when it comes to snakes, he actually is superior to those that think that that think they can scam him. No, they actually are part of him, and then they actually work under him. And also, fun fact, he also controls the gambling halls in hell. So, gambling, games of chance, King Asmodeus. He also teaches you how to win at them. By win at them, be a little bit slick with your winning. And from his mouth brings flames of fire. So when he speaks, he has a lot of zest, a lot of bang to his voice, a lot of energy to his feet, and energy to his voice. So when he speaks, is like, yes, King Asmodeus, I'm definitely paying attention. I definitely heard that. His feet are webbed like that of a goose. So he can also not only, he's also able to move and go through and pretty much like go through an understanding and travel through emotions. Water, webbed feet, that's a duck. Being able to be adaptable, being able to go from the mundane, 3D, and then to somebody's emotional side, like somebody's subconscious mind, because that's ruled by water. He sit on an infernal dragon and beareth in his hand a lance with a banner. This depiction, I don't think it actually has that. No, it doesn't. He is first and choosiest under the power of a Mammon, and he goeth before all other. When the exorcist hath a mind to call him, let it be abroad that he stand on his feet at all time of the action, and without any cap or headdress on. In other words, when you're going towards him, the whole time you have to be at your feet. You have to stand at your feet. Like for an example, like when going to a courtroom and an officer says, "All rise," you have to stand up. But the thing is, there is no, you may take a seat. You have to stay standing the whole time when you're interacting with him. And you have to have nothing on your head. Because usually when you wear a hat or something in the audience of a king or a queen, it's kind of showing that you don't listen to the rules. You don't abide by their rules. And you're not being, hospitable. So you have to invite him bareheaded. For if you don't, anything that he says or does for you will be all in deception, and he won't care. But as soon as the exorcist sees King Asmodeus in shape as said, he shall call him by his name, and by saying, and I'm putting in the king because that's his title. Art thou King Asmodeus? And he won't say no to it, and he won't deny it. And and by he will bow down unto the ground. But now, bow down to the ground doesn't mean you actually go like that. No. And by bow down to the ground, it actually means he when he says that he is King Asmodeus, that's when you go towards him in a respectful manner, like a handshake, and then bow your head as in as a courtesy, and not repeatedly. Just a handshake, bow and respect. Kind of like how it's practiced in Japan. Bow of respect, that's it. Not like whack-a-mole, your face to the ground. No. And then he giveth the rings of virtues, can teach it the arts of arithmetic. Now, arithmetic is any kind of mathematics, from your simple fundamentals of basic math like finances, financial money, geometry, algebra, yeah, I don't like algebra, calculus, imaginary numbers, anything that's mathematical, even astrology, that counts, because astrology requires math, geometry, as well as drafting. Astronomy, again, astronomy that also does include astrology, even though it's not saying it directly. Astronomy is the study of the planets and the stars or anything that is not of this world up in the sky. Geometry, again, that's a type of mathematics. And all handicrafts, anything that involves your hands to make. Beads, gemstones, crafting as in any, like for example, even writing a book. That writing a book, making material like this and formatting it beautifully. Yes, I'm never going to stop referencing this book with the formatting. Deal with it. Writing a book, formatting it, that requires your hands to do it. That counts. Handicrafts again. Anything like painting, sculpting requires your hands. Writing requires your hands. But what if it's typing? Well, it requires your hands. But if it's text to type, it doesn't matter. It requires your hands. You need to put the program on your computer. There you go. Deal with it. He giveth true and full answers unto thy demands. Don't demand. Please do not demand. Be mindful. Be respectful. Yeah, bookbinding. Definitely. He also makes one invisible. Now, invincible, and then there's invisible. He maketh one man invisible. Not invisible. Like invisible, like can't see this. Invincible. Like, nope, still standing. Still standing. Nope, still standing. Nope, nothing. Make someone's will become that of that you're not going to move. Somebody wants something, they're going to keep going for it. Just like how he was with Sarah. Yeah. He showeth where the place where treasure lies. He shows you where there's value. He shows you where all the value to you, where it's at, and how and where it's and if it's guarded. Actually, if he shows the place where the treasure is, and if you obtain it, he will actually secure it. And he has dominion over 72 spirits. 72. His seal is this, and I don't have it on hand, so I'll show it to you real quick. That's what it looks like. And the thing around it, like where there's the ASMDAYA, that circle thing around the sigil, do not draw it. I don't care if whoever tells you to draw that circular thing, don't do it. You know why? Because you're trapping King Asmodeus in that. Don't trap him in there. That's not nice. That's rude. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because again, if you were one of them, and if you were brought in and woozy-wooed by somebody, and then all of a sudden you come into their place and you're having a nice, pleasant time, they're talking to you, then just out of nowhere, you get trapped and you get bound by the hands, feet, and all your being. And now you're being told, okay, I want you to do this for me because I want you to. And you can't say no. That's rude. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And really, believe, yeah, my phone just said, warning, 5% battery life. Please charge me. Fine, you stupid phone. So I'm going to end it here. So keep a lookout for, I think it might come tomorrow or the day after when I go live, actually getting that deck prepared. And as always, if you want to actually get in touch with me to set up a time to actually have like a one-on-one moment with me to actually teach you something, and I'll price that for you, just message me down below on the messenger or send an email. And then my other links are down below in the bio me link thing down below in the description box. So I'll just see you guys tomorrow or whenever sooner. Just be good. That depends what you call good.